So on one side of things, we have the 22 people who have died at the hand of a terrorist, a suicide bomber, who are people who could afford to go to a concert. So they must have been relatively affluent, probably young, good-looking, people who are doing okay for themselves, got their whole future ahead of themselves, had their lives cruelly taken away from them, plus another 50 people in the same kind of event who've also been injured as a result of a suicide bomber in Manchester. This is a tragedy. This is bad. But this is also getting an awful lot of public attention in the media. Okay? And then on the other side of things, we've got people who've had their benefits taken away from them in this country, innocent British subjects basically, who are disabled. 10,000 of them are now dead. There's even a story I read recently about this person who was found in their flat with their stomach empty. Basically, they were starved to death, surrounded by copies of CVs or resumes for jobs which they couldn't apply for, or they couldn't get somehow, because they weren't fit for work, and yet they were declared fit for work by the government. So what is it that's going on here that we've got all this like major public attention to the 22 and the 50, but yet there's these other people who like died in their own mess, in abject poverty, not being able to get the medicines that they need, not being able to get the food that they need, because they've had their benefits taken away from them. What is it about us as a species that we care more for these healthy, possibly fit, good-looking, young people who are affluent more than the sick, the poor, and the weak, the very old, those in need of care, in need of assistance? This whole thing with Manchester is a tragedy. Any death is difficult. And I'm kind of like caught in this intellectual dilemma between, oh my god, that was a shock, that was a big shock. There was a place, there was an explosion, people died. And then insidiously over time, people who can't look after themselves without assistance die. Now, did the government know what was going to happen when people who need help have the help taken away from them? They can't be so stupid. These are intelligent people. If someone needs help, they should be given help. No, they had the help taken away from them, and these people died. And the public are afraid of terror. I go to the supermarket, I go to the shopping centre, because I need food. Okay, I go there, I get food. There's announcements going all the time saying watch out for suspicious activity, suspicious packages. But there's 22 people who die, and then there's 10,000 people who die. Alright, if those 10,000 people died in a bomb attack, a suicide bomb attack, or planted bombs on a train or so, or something, or in Wembley Stadium, would we care for them more? Would we care for them more if they had money, if they were good looking, if they were healthy? Would it be like spread all over the media that 10,000 people were horrifically destroyed, and you're going to care for them more because they're, middle class people who've got money, or they're healthy and they're good looking and they got their whole lives ahead of them? What is it about you that's going so mental? about a terrorist attack, which you shouldn't really be afraid of, because statistically speaking, in a country of like 60 million or whatever it is, if 22 people die, it's not going to happen to you. 22 out of 60 million. Alright? 22 as opposed to 10,000. That 10,000 could be your uncle or your aunt or your mother or your brother, someone you know, someone you're related to. It could be like, you know, maybe the guy at the shop down the road who's got a cousin who's been struggling to look after themselves. And the guy who runs the shop can't always afford to provide the medicine himself because he's trying to keep his head above water and he's struggling himself. Alright? And then, you know, that person dies, you know. I struggle with this. I really struggle with this. I struggle with the fact that the terrorist attack happened, 22 people died. I struggle with that. I struggle with the fact that 10,000 people have died. I struggle with that big time. I struggle more with the emphasis that we put on 22 people dying in a bomb blast, as opposed to, alright, 10,000 people dying because their benefits were taken away and they were dying in a tragic situation. Is it that our country's become so right-wing that we don't care for the poor and the sick and the needy and the disabled? Where are our priorities? Now, if I'm speaking out of turn through saying this stuff, let me know. Tell me. I want to grow from this. I want to learn from this.